You're watching Experience Comic Culture and Sales, streaming live daily to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
Hi, everybody. I'm Miss Jen, and this is Talkin Shop, where we're going to make sure that you have all the knowledge you need to be able to make sure you have the polls set aside for you at your local comic shop that you want to read. We try every week to get you 2 new creators on here that have stuff that we really love that's coming out. So you aren't, at the door on Wednesday thinking to yourself, I hope there's one in there for me. And you will have already called them or messaged them and have a very calm Wednesday or / Tuesday if you like DC, because some of it's out then. All right, everybody, we're going to take a quick second for some station identification, and we're going to come back and we're going to get to our awesome interviews. We'll see you in a sec. Everybody, welcome back. I am super excited today because I get to finally talk to somebody that I've followed their work for a long time, and you probably have too and didn't know it. That's why I love doing these things so much, because I'm assuming that you, like me, are super fans of comic books, and that is why you're here. And this allows you to kind of get to know the person behind all the favorite things that you pick up off of the racks. Get to know them a little bit, and then maybe if you like what's coming out this week when you pick it up, you might be able to go back and find their other stuff that they've done before. And to that end, I want to make sure you know what those things are. I've done all my research, but we're gonna now talk to awesome guy Kelly Williams.
Hello.
By the way, I love all your pictures. How long did it take you to grow that glorious mane?
Oh, I don't know.
Has it always been that? Has that been your length for a long time?
Oh, no. I have, I don't know, 10 years ago.
Okay.
I don't know. It got to a certain point and I just stopped paying attention to it, I guess.
My funny thing is, it took me forever to figure out, because when you go to the hairdresser as a female specifically, I don't know if they still tell the same lie to dudes or not, but I always would say, I really want my hair to grow long. I really want long hair. And they're like, oh, you have to keep it trimmed. Take off those dead ends, which essentially means that it's always getting cut and never can get any longer. And I only really grew long hair when I stopped cutting my hair altogether. So,
yeah, I didn't cut my hair for years.
Things you learned during the pandemic for the win.
It was actually a lot longer. And I don't know, a year ago, I trimmed it back some, and it's already kind of getting back to when it was. So, don't awesome. Cut it. That's all. That's all you got to do. Don't cut it.
It's true. Now we should just start a whole Facebook group that's just don't cut it.
You're going to apply it to everything.
It feels like those the sites that have old mama wisdom, the things that they know about, doing things in the kitchen or around the house, so you can use. You're just we're now those people.
But all we have is don't cut it.
Just don't cut it.
The only advice I have is don't cut it. No matter what it is, don't cut it.
One of our viewers has popped on. Mark always comes on with random cool knowledge about things. So he's got happy birthday to Howard Stark, father of Tony Stark and Iron Man. Thanks, man. We love all of the nerdy knowledge you bring us every week. And JD says, same with the cheese. Oh, you are so bad. Cutting the cheese. And Emily Holloway, hello. Emily owns an awesome bookstore, probably many multiples. Her family is really in love with books, and I got to get to know Emily in the last 4 years of doing live. She's amazing. All right, let's get to know you some. Have you always been into comics, or is this something you got into later on in life?
Well, I mean, I guess I've always been into comics. I mean, I was pretty young when I found comics, and you know,
Like
learned
how
the
young, like a kid at the grocery store, or an uncle gave you a big gigantic pile?
Nope, it was pretty much the grocery store. I stole my first comic book. I I I think it was a Batman comic. I can't remember now, but yeah, just like my mom would go to the laundromat to do laundry, and there was like a grocery store like down the street, and I'd skate over there and just sit and like read the comic books and or steal the comic books and you know. So oh, I
Miss Jen, you're muted.
yeah. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you, boss. I'm not sure what's.
When I put my microphone off the floor because I realized it was down below me, and when I did that, it accidentally muted on the screen. I apologize for that. I was like, but the microphone says it's on. Oh goodness! All right, so you've got killer art style. Was that something learned through schooling, through practice, inspiration from someone else you is in your family?
You know, practice, I guess. Just doing it. You know, I mean, the way I draw now, like obviously, isn't the way I drew when I was 16 or whatever. You know, like in the 90s, I was totally trying to draw. I don't know, you know, similar to like Todd McFarlane or something, and like. And then I discovered later that I didn't like that as much as I thought I did at the time.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. Like the way I draw now probably didn't actually come about or start to come about until, man, I don't know, like 10 or 11 years ago, maybe a little bit longer than that. But, and you know, I may not draw this way in 10 more years. So, yeah.
Do you find yourself having like a specific style that you stick with? Or do you like change your style according to the project itself?
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. I you know, obviously, like I try to vary it up depending on what the project is, and I've kind of turned into this person that like where I was doing horror almost exclusively for a while. I'm kind of moving around, and just about everything I do now, like it seems like every book that comes out, like it's an entirely different genre or whatever. But so you know, it allows for I guess growth and kind of playing with new stuff and everything. But I think the bones stay the same. You know, like I mean, if you were somebody who looks and says that's Kelly Williams, then you're probably gonna see that no matter what I change up or whatever. I think.
I mean, that's kind of cool, right? Even if you did change your style a little bit, people could still tell in general that it's your work. That's a great thing.
So.
Then people can be like, I need a Kelly Williams artist for this new project. We'll go get Kelly Williams, yo.
Yeah. Don't hire that other guy. Hire me.
Okay, so we like to peek behind the veil a lot. Because we have a lot of creators or people that want to be in the industry or are kind of like industry adjacent that actually have comic book stores or stores that sell books and also comic books. So even I, who have actually been on all sides of the industry, still trying to figure out to this day, like his kind of figures out, like every generation or every few years, it looks a little bit different. So like right now, do you find that your approach for projects, do you find yourself wanting to do your own projects? Do you have people that you've worked with before that just like working with you, so they recommend you bring you along? What's the formula right now for doing comic books in the industry?
Yes. I mean,
Really, all of that?
it's pretty much, speaking for myself anyways, I can't speak generalized for everybody, but yeah, I mean, I occasionally get approached, from publishers or writers or, whatever. And then, I mean, I have my own things that I'm doing and want to do. It's just those aren't installed with me making money, so it's harder to like just focus on those. So while it's harder to get those finished while you're doing all this other stuff, but yeah, and I mean, sure, like there's hardly anybody I've worked with that I don't like or wouldn't, work with again or whatever. And I think there's a lot of people that I think I'll probably end up back around working with or whatever. Yeah. So yeah.
I feel like that comic books as an industry is kind of like a lot of kind of what they consider the arts. Like I've been told lots of times, and I've seen it work out to be the truth, that people that want to do film or want to be in theater or be in comic books, it really is just doing your craft a lot with as many people as you can. And sometimes in some of those industries for free for a little bit, just to get your foot in the door so people can see what you're capable of. Although I hate to have people work for free in any industry, that feels bad. But some of them just had to do the dues.
I mean, right, like I'm not somebody who will like hammer on somebody who's trying to get started or whatever with the whole don't work for free thing. I mean, yeah, don't work for free, but I also think that it's something that like every individual needs to like decide for themselves on a like project by project basis. Like, is this something that you think, is this something you really want to do? Is this something you could see being beneficial for you in terms of like being able to show it later as a way to maybe help you get something else or whatever? If you're comfortable with it, then whatever. I mean, do it if that's what you feel like you need to do. And I think a lot of people forget. I feel like a lot of people forget what it's like when you're first trying to start, and how people aren't just like, well, sure, what's your page rate? They just kind of forget that it's when you're coming in from nowhere, you're not like already installed in any way. Like you don't have friends in the industry or any of that. Like you got to start somewhere. And I always tell people like, just make comic books, because I mean, if you want to make comic books and you want to like get a job making comic books, they're going to want to see comic books. So, that's the best thing you can do. And sometimes it just works out that, maybe somebody else, maybe a writer's in the same boat, wants to do the same thing, but so you guys.
It's a way to build out your portfolio if it works out for both of you guys.
Sure, yeah, and I mean, don't get taken advantage of. Like not all of those situations are gonna work in your favor. So sometimes I've definitely made the decision to do some things for free that like within a month I was like, well, this was a terrible idea. Why did
Oh no.
So it's kind of a live and learn kind of thing, I guess.
Yeah. I'm going to say hi to Matthew McHale, who just joined us. He's one of our regulars. This is Matt. This is Kelly Williams. I'm going to show you some of Kelly's awesome stuff here. I had not remembered, because I'm a dummy, that one of my favorite books on the rack is you.
Yeah, that's
I
both
love
of us.
Historical everything. Such a sucker for it. So
It was a fun. I don't know if fun's the right word, but it was a fun book to work on, just because working with Joe is fun. But it's pretty heavy in places, so you gotta work your way through.
Yeah, just give you guys some an idea of the art style. As I'm looking at this, to me, it looks all practically done. Is it true, or are you fooling me with your excellent digital skills?
Oh, no, yeah, that's all ink and watercolor on paper, traditional stuff. Like just about everything I do is traditional. I mean, maybe that's good, maybe it's not.
I mean, I love traditional. I know it's, according to everyone I've talked to or the lots of interviews that I've done, it's a little bit slower.
Yeah.
Especially when you do like layers.
You know what? Like it is just by default, but like at the same time, I do work digitally. Like in fact, I do all of my pencils digitally and then print them out and ink them on a light box. And like,
oh, okay.
But I'm not super smart about like working digitally, so I'm actually like, I don't know. I think sometimes working digitally is a little slower for me because also it opens up that window of like undo. So this isn't going like I wanted it to, and I'll sit there and undo it for like half an hour before it's finally. So you're wasting a lot of time doing that. I mean, I do anyways.
Oh yeah. And then I also love that you worked with a lot of different companies. So that was Top Shelf I just showed you, if you guys are wanting to put it on your list. So the book that I just showed was A Letter to Joe. It's a wartime book out of Top Shelf. And then the Mad Cave. This is an awesome book called Bountiful Garden. And this is the art style inside. It's a little different than the book we just saw because that one was more I don't know, gritty because of the focus of the story is. Fine.
Also, I didn't color Bountiful Garden.
Oh.
So
brighter colors than you would normally?
No, actually, I'm pretty horrible about using really bright colors, no matter how gruesome it's supposed to be. But it was I don't work. I haven't worked with colors very often in the past, and a couple times that I have, it didn't go great. Like I mean, they were great, and it's just sometimes everybody involved can be really good at what they do, but they just don't. Their styles don't gel quite right or whatever,
It's
so
hard to know when it's your first time working together on things.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes like lost in translation happens, especially if you're working across. I know there's a lot of people that are working together now that are not even on the same continent in any way.
Right.
So language is sometimes a barrier.
The colorist on Bountiful Garden is England, I think. I'm probably making stuff up now, but I know he's not in the States.
So this one, if you guys are interested in what this one's about, this one is like a sci-fi where the main characters are kind of like traveling to another planet, but they get woken up abruptly and end up on not the planet they were supposed to go to, and stuff happens there.
And they're all like teenagers and kids.
I love that theme a lot, where it's like, obviously we would send out young people because it's going to be a long journey. You can't stop people from getting older just because they're in cryo.
Right. I mean, makes sense to me. So that was one of the things I liked about it.
And then this one's so awesome. This is Source Point Press. This is The Dark. I have cases of this one. I think I bought them out. Gross stuff. Sorry, don't show it to your kids. Oh, glopple. This is really awesomely scary. I love this.
The Dark is kind of, I don't know, if I was to say anything it's kind of my baby in terms of like, that's my thing. So I was happy to see that, because I put them all out as self-published like mini comics.
Oh, okay.
And so like each one came out like that, and then I had gotten to know Source Point and worked with them. They put out Christian Sager and I's graphic novel, The Cabinet, a few years back.
Mm-hmm.
And but I talked to them about doing that as a collected, and so I was stoked when they were like, yeah, and just let me do it however I wanted to do it.
I love this, the name of the very first story in this, Boo Hag.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about what's coming out this week, because I really don't want anyone to miss this at all. So you guys write down the name of this book, because you're going to hear the name of it and be like, eh. And maybe even a little bit, you might be, because it has the dirty word in there that I see everybody that's looking at independence. If you say the word superhero, they automatically like, nope, my money already went to Marvel and DC. I can't afford to buy any more books this week unless it's an indie that doesn't deal with anything that's superhero. I'm like, forget that the word superhero exists in this, because I'm telling you, that is not why you're going to buy this book. It just happens to be part of the storyline.
It's
so
only
this one is
kind of a superhero book.
Yeah. And it's funny that the name changed, because I think it was originally just Captain Suave, but now it's The Life and Death of the Brave Captain Suave, which I love.
It's always been that, but
No.
you know, it's just a mouthful. So I think we just referred to it as Captain Suave like the whole time.
All right. So the pitch you guys need to know about it is that if you're like anybody else in college, you were not forced to, or you would like to read Don Quixote, because it's a story that you should. Imagine the story of Don Quixote, but take it completely out of Spanish countryside. There's no windmills, except there is.
Yeah.
That's the fun part about it. So you have this main character here who appears to be a slightly crazy homeless man who has a very rich inner imaginary life in which he is Captain Suave. And it jumps back and forth between what he sees and what's, like kind of imagines, and the real world, which is very heartbreaking. And to me, this book is completely awesome at like being a social commentary of a little bit thinking about, people's mental health.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And how to take care of people that are dealing with that. But in this case, I just think it's an awesome way to tell a story about what is a superhero.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that was, I think, part of the appeal for me, like early on, was the fact that like it does serve as a pretty good commentary on mental health and homelessness.
Mm-hmm.
And while also like, which later it kind of gets a little more personal on those characters, and like so it's got a lot of it's a silly book, but it's got a lot of touching moments, I guess. So
very extremely.
Joe's good at that. I mean, I'm giving he did same with A Letter to Joe. He does a good job of kind of weaving in and out of it before it gets a little too much, and you're just like depressed, like kind of swerves out and gets fun for a minute.
Yeah, and I also appreciate very much that the book puts you in the middle of a story for your main character quite clearly. And I'm hoping, I guess it doesn't really matter for this character whether they ever tell us why he is where he is, or why he's homeless. How has he always been homeless, or is this rich internal life? Is it real? Who knows?
I mean,
love the journey of it.
You will just have to purchase.
It's very true.
Keep up with the series.
Spoilers. Well, I do want to say that so you did a very brilliant thing in completely changing. We were talking about changing art styles. And this time, it's not for the whole book. It's really to kind of inform what you're seeing, which is so brilliant when you're doing storytelling. Was it a difficult change, or do you do all of the one style, which is his reality pages at one sitting, and then the other stuff, so that you don't have to switch back and forth in your brain? Or are you just like, I got it?
Well, kinda. Basically, all of the traditional stuff, all of the reality stuff, like you said, is like watercolor and ink. So I'll draw the whole page, because some of those pages like has both. So like I'll just go through and do ink the entire book, and then go back and do the watercolor stuff. And once all of that's done, I scan it in, and then I go in and do the coloring on all of the fantasy stuff. Parts, yeah. That's all digital. So it was a process. It took a little more effort than I was thinking it was gonna at first, but it worked out.
Well, it's really, really beautiful, and I do encourage all of our viewers that take a chance on this book this week. I guarantee you, as me, like telling you guys know, when I recommend something, that I mean it. It's not just me like, buy all the things. This book specifically, please, this week, put it in your poll and read the first issue. You will not be sad about it, because it's I really would hate for this book to get lost in the shuffle of books that are coming out this week, because it's so amazing.
There's a lot of good books coming out this week.
Yeah, there are. Do you have any other projects that are coming up close after this?
Well, actually, next month, Yard Gang Halloween special comes out. That's coming out from Storm Kids, and that is a all ages Halloween-y type story that I did with Steve Niles and Monica Richards, and it's basically, it follows. I don't know if you follow Steve and social media stuff and everything, but they have a lot of animals, and so
I know Steve Niles' work. I mean, for you to be able to say that you've done art on Steve is like, wow.
Oh yeah. It was fun. It was great, and it's different. Like it's different for both of us. Like, I mean, it's funny that I'm working with Steve, and it's not a horror thing, considering that, for the most part, we were both pretty known for doing horror. But it's a fun little book, and it comes out, I don't know, mid-September, I think.
Okay, that's not too long.
And then I don't know. I'm working on stuff. I can't really talk about much of it.
Still, the release schedule for everything is really up in the air, so I understand that. Like, I can't pitch too much things that you're not sure when.
Right. I mean, we finished the first issue. Joe and I basically, Joe, I, and Taylor, the letterer, we basically did the whole first issue to pitch like to publishers, and so it's been like at least 3 or 4 years since we finished that book.
Wow.
And then when we got with Scout, like the plan was finish the whole 5-issue arc, and then it'll get solicited, and so that added like another, a year basically to the thing. So you never know how long that stuff's gonna take.
So true. All right. Well, we've run out of our whole half hour. How does that happen so fast? Crazy. You want to share where people should follow you to be able to know the most about what you're working on in comics?
I am probably the most active on the Twitter. I am at Treebeard on there. The beard is spelled with 2 E's, not EA. I basically, I'm the same name on everything. So, well, Instagram, there's a Y at the end. It's Treebeardy because apparently somebody beat me to Treebeard. But yeah, I was surprised, especially spelled that way. But so it turns out other people can't spell either. But yeah, that's probably the place I'm at the most. I'm on Facebook and all that stuff too. But
Perfect.
those are the most prominent things, I guess.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I so appreciate you being able to come on. I really look forward to on Wednesday hand selling this book because I'm super on fire for it. You guys
Appreciate
take the time to go and write it on your list for your LCS. All right. Don't go anywhere, anybody, because we have another interview coming up next. Appreciate you, Kelly, so much.
Thank you.
See ya.
This is The Experience.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hey there, hi there, ho there. You're as welcome as can be.
Hi, I'm Nancy McCann. Welcome to Friday Night Live on The Experience.
Welcome, everybody. It's Fat Jack's Comic Crypt. Brendan, Al, Jason, hanging out.
There I am. Welcome back to Kicking It with Henry, folks. I am your host, Henry Compa. It's great to be here with you guys.
So we are going to talk about books that are in stores this week.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Mishmash.
Hello, and welcome to the Black Comics Universe, presented by Peep Game Comics.
And you gotta love it that the first people in a minute to skim it are creators.
Up, everybody! Welcome to another Wednesday Warriors. My name is Joey Galvez, and this is my pal Ambrosia.
Hey, everybody! Welcome to Space Cadet.
Hey!
What's up?
Welcome, everyone, for another episode of I Must Ask You a Question.
Hi, everybody! Welcome to Nerd News Now.
Hey, this is Rex. Welcome to Comic Collectibles.
Hey, hello, all you happy people. Welcome to the Dan Wickline Show.
Hi, everybody, and welcome. This is the crazy show that we do on Thursdays called What's in the Box?
What's in the box?
Comic culture and sales.
Did you know that every Experience show, including some exclusive content, streams on Twitch? Check it out. Twitch.tv/the_EXP. Or just scan that QR code.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Talkin Shop, where it's stop. It's Harpoon time. There you go. Everybody, welcome on Brian Aberlin.
Hello.
Hello, I made you a special sign.
Positioned right.
I'm positioned right. Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Jen.
How have you been?
I've been busy. I need to clone myself.
You're just like back from Big Convention X and getting ready to go back out to Big Convention Y, right?
My next one would be September. That'll be Amazing Las Vegas. I'm looking at my whiteboard.
Vegas.
That's what I'm looking at over there.
Our friend Jimmy J.
Yep.
I love those. They used to have them here in Houston, and then I don't know what happened. We would love to have them back because there were actual comic book shows with comic book stuff.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, it was like why San Diego blew up the way it blew up was when it first started. It was the place where, again, most of the comic book artists back in the day were East Coast guys or gals, and we get to go to San Diego. I mean, maybe we can bring the family too, so it's a vacation at the same time. And I think Vegas kind of has that, excuse as well sometimes for comic creators. But it's funny because it took so long for any comic show to gain ground there. I still remember stories of ones happening in the 2000s and the 2010s, and they all kind of failed miserably. Like people would go and then, I guess disappear to casinos or whatever, and not come back to the show. But there's more comic stores per capita in Vegas than anywhere else in the United States.
And some really amazing ones there. It's not like there's a peppering of not great ones. There's amazing ones. Is it Torpedo and Maximum there and Alternate and it's all my friends.
Yeah. And they're all great stores. I mean, what I didn't quite, because I have in-laws that are out there, and I was part of their we did that for the shooting victims. We did the Where We Lived book and stuff with J.H. Williams put together and all that kind of stuff for people who had some roots there. But I didn't realize how long it was until I started. I'm going to visit the Maximum stores, and it's like from one Maximum store in Vegas to another Maximum store was basically an hour drive.
Oh goodness, I didn't realize they were that far away from each other.
That's how big that whole metropolitan Vegas. It's Henderson, it's Summerlin, it's this huge area, But yeah, they have just great stores out there. It was always just amazing that it never really, Jimmy's had, I think, the most successful store. There was another show that went a couple years that was down at the old. The casino that doesn't exist anymore was really the Rat Pack Casino too. You could go there, and there was the guy who still had managed and helped out Sinatra in the room that he would be in. You could go there. I want to say the Sands, but maybe not the Sands. But it was like one of those really, really old Vegas. Yeah. And a guy ran that for a couple of years and stuff. It seemed to go well, but you never really know, right?
It would probably be really hard to figure out where exactly. I know they have the convention center, but you could really have a hotel con because they're kind of connected.
Where I think Jimmy cracked it was most locals hate going to the Strip because of the traffic and stuff that's there. And so he initially held it at the South Point, which was a big casino convention center, but it was out towards Henderson. It was way out, and it was easy for locals to hop on a freeway and get there, as opposed to driving down in the middle of the Strip and dealing with all the stuff you have to deal with in the middle of the Strip. And I thought that was great when he had that going. But then, the South Point people were like, yeah, it's not big enough. They do rodeos. They do a lot of rodeos. It's a very Western thing, the South Point. So they have a big place that does rodeos inside the place and stuff. It's a huge convention center. It's it's as big as any of the Strip casinos, but it's like the first one you would hit driving in from California kind of thing. And they had that last year. They had them on the marquee facing the freeway, the convention. There's a comic convention. That's like, oh, well, this is great. But then it's like, yeah, you guys aren't bringing in enough gambling money for us. So,
I I wonder how
But he's done great at the convention center. You know, he's had
Yeah.
great people. I mean, it's Stan Lee and McFarlane and everybody anybody's kind of been doing that show. So, you know.
Yeah. You guys should, if you've never been to an amazing, I'm not just saying that they are amazing, but the brand name is amazing, comic show, you should, I mean, it's worth a fly and stay to totally be able to go to partake in them, because I've never, ever seen a more hands-on con owner than Jimmy J is. He's on the floor making sure everything goes right, and he's not a con owner that sits, you know, in an office you never see them, but he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Mark Heron says, where are you from, Mr. Brian?
I live in Southern California. Born in Hawaii, but live in Southern California.
Oh man, you live in two beautiful, beautiful places. All right, so I know you guys probably already know everything all the back history for Mr. Haberlin, but if you're brand new to comic books and you don't know, probably the biggest touchstone is with Spawn. A lot of good coloring in Spawn, but recently all original, great stuff. Most of it, I believe, all Image, right?
Yeah, well, you know, I'm co-creator Witchblade as well. You know, to go back in the day. You know, I first started at Image in '93 at Top Cow, where I formed their computer coloring department at the time. And then eventually, before I left, became vice president over there and did Witchblade and some other things, and then moved on and formed my own company, Avalon, where we did coloring for all the best guys. We did most of the Marvel Knights initial run coloring and a lot of that stuff out of there, and did McFarlane and then we also formed Avalon Comics, where we did Aria, which was, when that came out, it was the second highest selling comic book in the United States. X-Men was the only thing that beat it, you know, and that's the mainstream. And we came out with Stone, which Wilson and I did, and that was the highest selling independent book of '98 when it came out. So, you know, we did pretty well with that stuff. And then I was editor-in-chief for McFarlane, and I penciled and inked Spawn for a couple of years with David Hine writing, my buddy, who, you know, we do The Marked and Sonata together and stuff. Yeah, it just took me a while. I thought getting in as a colorist, you know, I thought when I first got the job offer, it's like, oh, you know, okay, what do you want to do? And they obviously saw me doing the computer coloring, and it was like, okay, you know, that's what we need. And I thought, I can go in as a computer colorist and then do something else. And it took a long time for me to get out of that velvet coffin of computer coloring, especially too because they paid you a lot of money back then for computer coloring.
I always feel like you're always on the very edge of everything that's technology related for comic books. Have you always been a person that's technology like interested or driven?
Yeah, because I always figure it's new tools and you got to move or be left behind. And so I was, you know, started with the first, you know, Amiga 500 to start doing computer stuff. You know, it's like when people talk about the AI stuff and they're all like, you know, how the AI stuff is cheating. It's like, you know, when I first started using the computer, I felt the AI, you know, people say, oh, you're cheating because you're using the computer, or, you know, or now you're using 3D models. Oh, you're cheating because you're using 3D models. You know, it's like, but then David Hine reminded me back in the day, because I started as a conventional illustrator. I've been an illustrator since I was 18, when there were no computers and stuff like that, and I didn't know how to do oil. I knew how to make my own paints. I needed to know how to do all that kind of stuff. And I remember going way back. Oh, you're cheating because you're using an airbrush. You know, so it's always about finding the new tool and mastering the new tool.
Just thought I'd show you guys some of the art for the Marked and Sonata.
And the Marked we'll have coming back in October. We have the
these aren't complete stories, right? We still have more to hear, I hope.
Yeah, we have a Halloween special in October. 48-page one shot that David and I are doing.
Awesome. And then currently you still have Hellcop running.
The Hellcop will be out 8/31 for Hellcop 10.
And what I think is cool that you're doing right now is you've got like the regular cover art, but then you've got these really cool ones that look like magazine covers.
Yeah.
Those are brilliant.
I mean, one of my favorite parts about the whole book too is the back cover. My assistant Hannah puts those together, and she does a great job. So there's the spoofs on the old back ads that you get in comics.
You can buy a DeLorean.
Yeah, in hell. You can buy a steam-powered DeLorean in hell.
Mm-hmm.
I think this the one that's gonna be on 10 that I like a lot is People Monkeys, which is Sea Monkeys take. But those have been some of my favorite parts. But
that's so cool.
Yeah, I've been doing this stuff for a long time now. But I still like it, and I still like the challenges of, seeing what's new and how to do the stuff in new ways.
Absolutely. I mean, I always know, especially for San Diego Comic-Con, I have got to stop at your booth because you usually are kind of like showing.
Well, you came to the AI panel this year, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I wish I could have gone to all of them because I think you had follow-up ones that got even deeper.
Yeah, I had 3 panels.
Yeah, so, like right now, I know there's a lot of talk in the industry about what AI is going to do, what it's capable of doing. And I remember you saying at that panel, what's that been, 4 weeks ago?
Yep.
You were saying that they hadn't really gotten faces down quite yet.
Yep. And
you were like, I think it'll be real soon that they'll have it. And like the one that you posted today, did you modify that one at all? The one that looks like Cumberbatch?
Oh, that one? Yeah, I did. I did. But
so
there's plenty of ones that, you can literally go into it right now and it's not all of them because they're all different flavors, right? So if you go to, on the Stable Diffusion one, that one nails it. You could do in your prompt something with an actor because it works off databases. So the more references it has for something that exists already, like you couldn't do right now. I couldn't do, let's say I designed Virgil and Hellcop, right? It's like I couldn't have it consistently do Virgil, right? So you can't do sequential with it yet. Right. And again, I'm saying yet. But eventually you probably, because this one's getting close. It's called Stable Diffusion. And what Stable Diffusion enables you to do is you can lock in what's called a seed, which is what the AI looks at. And so I saw a very fun one that someone had done, and it was Cookie destroying the Earth. And it was a photorealistic Cookie flying in with flames behind it, from any high-end CG movie you ever want to see, right? But now with Stable Diffusion, you can lock in whatever that seed is and go, I don't want it to be a ginger snap. I want it to be a chocolate chip cookie. And then you can change the prompt and it will do the same image, but replace the ginger snap with a chocolate chip cookie.
Oh, that's awesome. Because I'm sure it's frustrating if you're like going, okay, it's not quite there. I just want to tweak one thing.
Yeah.
But I don't want to tweak it myself by overlaying art or whatever. I just want to see it run and see
that's something that gives me a little kind of, I don't know, joy, but it's not joy, but a little more leeway where the amount of stuff that I do need to fix, I feel better about it. Yeah. The ones that come out and you're like, there's nothing for me to do, that always makes me feel a little bit. But it's funny because I've been raising I don't want to say the alarm, but the awareness of this stuff for a while because I feel artists should know, because it is cataclysmic. It is not cataclysmic. It's earth changing. It's going to change how a lot of this stuff is done. And they need to be aware of it. But you get people now, I just saw yesterday, like a conversation from some people who were like going, oh, now on Artist Alley, there's all going to be all these prints and they're all going to be AI prints and no one's going to buy my prints anymore and stuff. And then, people saying, oh, it's going to raise the prices though of your original art and stuff like that. It's like, I don't know if that's the case. I think it's similar to many years ago when there weren't so many cosplayers at a show And Artist Alley people used to sell a lot more prints because people come in with their kids, whatever. Oh, we have to get something to bring home. Oh, there's a cool print of Captain America. We like Captain America. Let's buy that print from that artist, right? But then it became, oh, there's that really cool guy who looks just like Captain America. Set up, let's just take a picture with Captain America and go home. And I'm feeling that's going to be more the reality.
Yeah, I like you have like these very profound thoughts, and the one you posted 3 days ago was like, so what if the art that AIs are really just aliens using humans for art ideas and are making a mint selling them to the rest of the universe?
Yeah,
they're just data mining us.
Well, even like, just at lunch with my assistant, I was saying, what if the AI is truly Satan, and this is how you destroy us by making art non-consequential anymore.
It's just like the written word was gonna destroy all of humanity because we wouldn't have to memorize things anymore.
But again, there already are. The art thing has come around at just like what I was just saying before when I was at my talk. It's like, I can't do it yet, and then all of a sudden, because it learns exponentially. It doesn't learn the way we learn. It does this. So it's very confident in saying when you see something like, oh, it's almost there, that it will be there, and it will be there in a few months. And that's the same thing for, writing. It's just like scary. It's like the word prompts like, a little girl with her father is dying of cancer and a monster in Stephen King style.
Yeah. 3,000 words.
50,000 words or less.
Yeah.
Oh. That's going to happen.
I suspect the early ones of those are just going to be laugh fodder as we laugh at whatever the AI thought was a good story.
Yeah, but I think a lot of that's already kind of happened. I hate to say, it's already. Because it's about learning, and it's like, but it's also funny. Is like sometimes we just think we're so complex and special as being humans, and it's like, no, at a certain point it's formulas, and there's going to be people putting, and it's not, there's always going to be, I always feel that no matter, even if I work with 3D models or whatever, I always feel like the more you can put the human hand on it. So I think it's a hybrid is the thing that's the cool thing. I think if it's just computer, I think somehow, I'm going to say it's soulless, and that's not exactly what I mean, but there's something about it. But as soon as you can put hand on top of it or rewrite or whatever the deal is, that hybrid thing, I've never been a purist, and I think by not being a purist, you have a lot of advantages. Because I'll throw, I'll do a 3D model thing. I'll print it out on my printer. I'll go over with acrylic paint or watercolor or whatever, scan it back in, put the two things together, just hodgepodge things together, and I think a lot of people who get scared by this stuff don't think that way. And they think, oh, that's it, I'm done. It's going to replace me. It's like, no, figure out, it's like, even if you're just going to use it for palettes, or even if you're just going to use it for textures, or even if you're just going to use it for, an idea that you're just going to use it as reference, you're going to paint your own thing, draw your own thing. It's still something to help you,
Emily's doing something. She's doing a super deep dive on human behavior. Says an AI would seem less human if they were completely original. We hear the same jokes every day from people who come into the shop, and they all think we've never heard it before. And that's the way humans are, right? We repeat what we just heard on our, our social media feeds.
Yeah. It's
Right, so something you showed us during San Diego, I'm still very interested in. And I know you said when it was going to come out, but I had forgotten. The Grossimon?
Yeah. Hopefully by Baltimore and the Diamond Summit, we're aiming to have some proof cards for people.
Yeah, those are really, really cool. And they feel very organic.
Yeah.
I like those images.
That's the other thing is like, and we'll jump over to the other stuff real quick. It's like, for people who don't know how the AI stuff works, there are actually there's a variety of ways that it works, and it depends on I almost look right now at the three big boys right now or the four big boys are Disco Diffusion, which is much more you have to get in and throw in numbers and know what those numbers mean and all that kind of stuff. But what's really cool about that is you can do animation like those zooming animation, dream animations I've been doing. That's all from Disco Diffusion. But Disco Diffusion will also allow you to start from your own drawings. So we'll take your drawings and you can throw in prompts and it will change your drawings into other things. So the base is you and the AI working with you doing that kind of thing. Midjourney, DALL-E, and Stable Diffusion, though I think Stable Diffusion is going to be going this way, they're all the text prompt stuff. So you put in your word salad, so to speak, as Larry Marder puts it, and you get what you get. But what I think the people who want to get good at it and use it as a professional is you'll see, because you can go through and most of them are in Discords, and you can see the word salad recipes that people are using to get whatever these images are that they're getting, right? And it's like a Duncan Hines chocolate cake recipe, right? If like you have 1,000 people throughout the country have that chocolate, they're going to produce a chocolate cake that pretty much tastes the same, pretty much kind of looks the same, all that kind of stuff. And what the challenge is for artists is to find what those combinations are that do something for the images that make it exclusively yours. So someone looks at it and goes, that's a Haberlin, or that's a, whatever, it's like something that makes it look like a DALL-E, Salvador Dali, not the program, something that you can immediately look at and go, that's a Monet. I know what a Monet that's the challenge. Yep. It's no longer about, I can just do a beautiful woman. It's about doing a beautiful woman that you look at, obviously, and you go, that is that artist. And you can do that. But you have to be careful now because so many of these things are public in their, like, that's why I like Disco Diffusion, is it's on my collab in Google. No one sees what my recipes are, and I think most great chefs don't really necessarily share all their techniques and recipes. And that's kind of where it's going right now. I mean, I'll take anybody down the line and show them how to do all kinds of stuff. And at a certain point, it's got to be you to jump to that next level. But that's how you jump to that next level.
Oh, yeah. All right. Let's talk about what's coming out this week real fast.
There's this guy with a shiny head thing, this kind of metal head thing. And it's got a nose, kind of like a bird kind of thing. Yeah, that's him.
I feel like we're not quite to where we could say a whole new generation is going to be introduced to Shadowhawk. But in some cases, I think it's going to be true.
Shadowhawk has been around for quite some time. I didn't ask Jim about this recently, but was Shadowhawk the second one to come out of the original books, of the original image books?
We've had Prophet, and
so wasn't no. I mean, originally, wasn't Youngblood first?
Youngblood definitely is first because isn't it his?
Because I don't think Spawn was second for some reason.
I'm gonna have to go back and look at the order of release. Am I right?
But it was something like that, I think. Mm-hmm. I mean, Eric could have, Eric was freaking fast, so Savage Dragon could have been wherever. Yeah. But anyway, it's so funny because my Hollywood manager guy. Who we've just been around together for about a year now, and he confessed like 6 months ago he showed me his high school drawings of Shadowhawk.
Really? Awesome. So this is all new tale, right? This isn't retelling of any tale.
No,
it's happened before.
This is a standalone one shot death of Shadowhawk. It's Philip Tan doing the penciling and the base story, and then Jim and I jumped in to do the final scripting. I think I have a couple covers that I worked on, and a a little bit of some of the color. I think on like one or two of the pages I went over a little bit, but that was about it. The rest of the team did all great job on all that stuff. But yeah, it was Shadowhawk. And it's so funny because like Jim is so, if you ever meet Jim, he has a reputation of being this gruff guy, and that's not Jim at all. But he's so just, it's Shadowhawk. It's like, but when I talk to people about Shadowhawk's like, oh, that was my favorite one of the early Image characters. That was my favorite. He was so edgy and so. And I don't know if you saw, like, there was that actor from The Good Place who said, like, if he had played any comic character, it was Shadowhawk. He wanted to do Shadowhawk.
Oh, we need to make that happen.
But no, it was funny because I was up at Jim's house in Portland when we were going through the pencils and doing script, and we were doing it. Here are the pages. That's back and forth, and Jim would be writing some stuff down, and then I would write some stuff down, and then what if we move that there and do that there, and that kind of thing. And it was funny too because people forget that Alan Moore did a chunk of the lore for Shadowhawk, and that's what we kind of pulled a little bit into this. It's sort of Egyptian sort of thing. And it's funny because it was like, now with Moon Knight being as popular as I forgot about the kind of the ties that the Egyptian had to Shadowhawk at the same time, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. We have the 3D version coming out. I think this week you get the regular versions, and then I want to say next week or 2 weeks from now, because we have to. The problem with we can't nail the 3D versions of these books coming out the same day not because of how we do the 3D, because getting the glasses printed.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Because it takes longer to get the glasses printed. And so we have FOC, and it's not enough time in a regular FOC to get them in the store that next week as we do with regular printed comics, which bit us a little bit on the first Hellcop. We did a 3D version of that. And I believe some of those shipped late, or I think we actually just opted, because we had nice printed glasses. They had nice printing on the stuff. I don't think I have one here. Do I? No, that's a white one. And we got the preliminary numbers for them, and I thought, okay, I'll add 500 to this, and then final order numbers, and there were like 2,500 more. It's like, okay, we don't have enough glasses for this, so we had to go back and But anyway, that's why the 3D version is not there yet. But that's the other thing on the 3D version of the marked. We have a blink, and blinks are great. So you still use the 3D glasses, but you look through one lens at a time, and the image it looks together in one image, and then it becomes the two different images.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go try that now.
Oh no, they're really cool. Yeah. I'll bump up because I think I have it on my Facebook. I have a video of how it works, and I'll see if
you guys really, if you are not following Mr. Havlin's social media, you absolutely should, because you're gonna you'll know when things get change on AI. You'll know. Because it'll be
the best one to follow is the one I'm most active on is my Brian Haberlin official on Instagram, because my Facebook's maxed out, so I can't get any more people on that, and I hate the idea of starting. Facebook's so weird with this stuff. It's like I get much more traction on Instagram and all that kind of stuff. So I think, oh, should I start a fan thing on Facebook, because then I could have more. But it's like, I'm not super fan of Facebook. Instagram seems to be kind of working pretty well for me.
Well, I'll be a part of the old guard on Facebook that still follows you there.
I still post there as well, but it's like, again, it's limited to the 5,000 people. So, yeah.
True. Well, thank you so much for all your time. I always appreciate it when we get to hang out and talk.
Yeah.
I learned so much from you, and I'm sure everybody else does too. Nick Barucci and Brainy Singh popped on here at the very end to say hi to you.
Hello.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on the experience. Everyone give some hearts and some thumbs up and follow us so that you can never miss awesomeness like Brian Haberlin ever again. All right, everybody. We'll see you next time. Thanks.
Join the party. Head over to our link tree to find all the links for everywhere the experience is all the time.